All right, guys, we are live. Now, the microphone was working. It appears to still be working. Before I started last time, I did not check, and it wasn't working, and it was not fun. Of course, I had my youngest with me at the time, and it was, just wasn't the. It was a day one mistake. It was a day one mistake. Let's just be honest with ourselves. In any case, it is quite late today. What's up, Jenna? What's up, Ray? Jenna is on. It is quite late today. I know we had a recital, a dance recital that lasted the entire day.
To be fair, it was two parts.
It was two parts. To be fair, it was two parts. Got one eye open, bro. I got like half of the one open. So yes, I had a dance recital today. It lasted a while. It was two parts. They did 2-year-old to second grade or 2-year-old to third grade in the first part, which we have two in that group, and then they did fourth grade to 12th grade, or I guess to senior. They go to like adults. So it was it was not fun. Summer is upon us. School ends soon. Carly Moore Eats is also here. What's up, Carly?
You probably shouldn't tell the last names.
She wrote it.
Oh, okay.
It's written right there. School ends for us. We have 5 school days, 6 days total. I have counted down days till school starts back up. I'm not going to give the number. I do fully know the number, but Miss Lady over there does not want me to give the number out.
We have 5 school days left.
5 school days.
Monday through Friday.
Yes, 5 school days, but not because you got Sunday too. I'm sorry. It says Carly Moore Eats, but then it says it's actually Lindley.
Aww.
What's up, Lindley? Hit that like button, says Ray. Tonight is a very rare occasion. I can't show you because I'm scared I'll spill my drink, but I'm drinking the drink of my people. This is Sundrop. What am I doing? Tonight I'm live streaming. We just got back from a dance recital. From the dance recital. It was so much fun. Actually, I'm not going to lie. It was pretty fun. But they just take so stinking long. They take a long time. They're not short. But it's all good. And if I can get, which I don't know what goes on with Meta, but Meta always takes like a long time to load up, and so as soon as Meta loads up, I'll show you that we have an Instagram and we have a Facebook page. If you want to check out the Instagram page, it looks like this. Ta-da! I do not direct message on the Instagram page because I just don't know how to do it, and I don't do it. Sundrop is a soft drink or a soda. For those of you who do not know Sundrop is from Gastonia, North Carolina. 2 of the greatest things in the history of the world were created in Gastonia, North Carolina. Me and Sundrop. Facts. I was not born there. I was created there. I sure will, Lynn Lee. And Fred Durst, I forgot about it. So three phenomenal things. 3 phenomenal things come from Gastonia, North Carolina. Fred Durst. I would definitely, absolutely play his music right now. The problem is I'm worried about getting copyrighted, striked. So I'm not going to do that. But man, I do love his music. Anyways, here's the Facebook page. I have not posted anything on Facebook since September 3rd of 23 because I just don't care for Facebook. Like, I just don't know what it is. I don't like Facebook. I don't care for Facebook. It is what it is. I like to see Fred Durst and Metallica get together. I heard it was, I believe, Wolfgang Van Halen. Wolfgang Van Halen said at some point in time, Fred Durst and Van Halen had got together. And apparently Eddie got so mad that he like demanded his stuff back by machine gun at Fred, which is not, which is understandable. That happens. I've also pinched a cable here. Good night, Lindley. We will see you later. But I have heard, of course, I don't think there's ever any proof of it happening, but I have heard that Fred Durst and Van Halen got together at some point in time. Job has been treating me good. But there's been changes at work. It's all related to Medicaid. Chris the Dude Gamer. The changes at work have all been related to Medicaid billing, things like that, and it's sort of coming down on the nurses a lot due to documentation, because for whatever reason, Medicaid wants their own documentation, whereas like private insurance wants their own medication, or no insurance wants their own medication. Not medication, documentation. And so it's been a little bit of a headache because all of these changes happened last Friday afternoon, or not last Friday afternoon, last Thursday afternoon, and then went into implementation Friday morning. So it's been like one full week and 1 day of the new Medicaid, Medicare. And we also, since I'm in substance abuse, we also have what's called grant funding. And grant funding is sort of like college. Like when you get grants in college, you can get a grant to get into treatment. Everybody doesn't qualify, but in any case, the new documentation that's been rolled out with that has been a big headache. And it's, other than that, the job's the same, but the documentation part of things has really put a hamper in our a wrench in our plans, whatever you want to call it. But how about you? How's work? Are you going to continue to do the school nurse thing whenever school's done? You going to take the whole summer off and then just come back to it in August or September whenever y'all go back? I had awesome security at work today, man. I bet you did. I bet you had the greatest security known to man at work today. I used to have awesome security at work, but decided to leave me. Man, I was bummed out too, man. I really like that security. Not even lying right now. Not even messing right now. Like 2 days ago, I think it was Thursday. So it's Thursday. Somebody made the comment. They said, "Man, I sure do wish we had stinking security back here." They said, "Man, we'd pay anything to have security back." I said, "Well, security ain't coming back. They done, talked to security yesterday. They was building a go-kart. Said they ain't coming back." So it is what it is. It's a bummer for us. Gonna do home health. Want to try it. I did home health, I think like 6 whole years. I did home health. The one thing, it is very hard to find good help. The one thing you got to worry about in home health, the biggest concern that I had, and I think most home health nurses would also agree, is you realize you're by yourself quickly. On paper, it sounds wonderful. On paper, you're like, oh, I'm going to be by myself, one-on-one with the patient, this and that and the other. Yes, it's great, it's wonderful, but there's going to become a circumstance where you realize, oh, shoot, I don't have enough hands. I didn't get everything I needed to get before I started this. I've got to leave this person in a bed. I've got to leave this person on a counter, whatever it may be. Something I didn't hook up, and I don't have enough hands to hook it up. I wish I could call someone. Something like that. It happens to everybody. So always in home health, plan all of your tasks. Plan them out. You've got the time. Don't get in a hurry. You have plenty of time in home health. You're under, the deadline you're under is nowhere near as fast paced as it is in a facility. So take your time in home health and definitely plan out all of your tasks. That's what took me the longest to sort of understand, is time management in home health is a completely different can of worms than it is in a facility. And it's not bad at all. Once you learn that, it's really not bad at all. But man, yes, it is stinking really hard to find good help. So, we're 11 minutes into this. So let me tell you a story. I kind of wanted to wait until we got a little bit into us. Actually, let me answer this question now. It says, it's coming through, come through but didn't come through. Why did I leave home health? I left home health, several different reasons why I left home health. When I left home health, I don't think it's this way now, but when I left, they did not pay anything. I think they paid like $17 an hour, and somehow in North Carolina, they had worked out to where they did not pay overtime. So I could do 60 hours a week, and it'll still be $17 an hour for every single one of those 60 hours, because you were considered contract work. And so you weren't actually like you had no benefits, you had no 401k, no insurance, nothing like that. And so I really needed something better. But I've been reading that I was with Bayada. Bayada is the company I was with. I've been reading that Bayada has changed that, and now they are paying overtime, and they are giving benefits and things like that. My oldest was being born. She was on her way here when I left home health, and I went to the hospital simply for the insurance. We had to have insurance. Children get sick and things, and especially just being born, things like that. And so that was really the reason why I left home health. Probably would have stayed, honestly, but it was pretty good. But yeah, that was definitely it. At the time, that was the biggest reason. Anyways, let me tell you a story, because I wanted to wait a little bit. So I found out that I knew my sister went to go to my dad's house over the weekend, over Memorial Day weekend. He lives at Myrtle Beach, because anyone from Gastonia always goes to Myrtle Beach for whatever reason. It's like a magnet. She goes to the beach to stay with my dad. My dad says, "How's your brother doing?" And then whenever the two of us are together, I refer to our dad as her dad. Always. I always have, always will. And so my sister went to see her dad, and he asked how I was doing. And she said about the YouTube channel. And our dad got on the YouTube channel and did not like what I have been saying or had to say. Things like that. And so he calls me. I was like, okay. So he calls me this week, and the first thing out of his mouth was, "So I see you have a YouTube channel," or something like that. And I immediately started laughing, because I knew He was not going to be happy about it. And so he says, why are you calling yourself Gastonia Man? And then he says, you wasn't created in Gastonia. You was created in Iron Station. And I was like, no, I remember this story word for word. I remember you telling me this story word for word. And needless to say, he was not he was not very happy about anything I had to say. I finally told him, I said, just don't get butt hurt. It's just a character. Come on now. Don't get your feelings hurt too bad. That's fine. And I do remember he said, quit making me look like a dirtbag. I remember that. Man, I laughed so hard. It was just so funny to me. Probably not to him. Probably not to him, but it was funny to me. It is what it is. I saw my sister today, and talking to her today, that's how I found out that she's the one that told him about the YouTube channel. Because I didn't think he knew. I didn't think he watched YouTube. I honestly don't really know. But it was funny for me. Probably not for him, but it was definitely funny for me. Speaking of the game channel, I just realized I'm wearing my Tetris shirt. That's right. 40th anniversary of Tetris is apparently coming up because the American Red Cross gave me a Tetris shirt. And I'm not even going to lie. 6/11/21 free ride in Patina Mach 1 might go. Wait, yeah, the kids are out of school. Yeah, definitely. Anyways, back to my Tetris shirt. I went to give blood because they call me constantly last Thursday, I believe. And the first question I had for the people at the American Red Cross was, where's my free shirt at? I want that free shirt. They did not give me the free shirt until I gave the blood. They were like, you got to give up the juice to get the free shirt. You can't just get a free shirt for nothing. Sad day. Anyways, the free ride in the Patina Mach 1. Is it in a 20-year-old Mach 1 or a 40-year-old Mach 1? Because it'll play a big difference in if I do want to go or don't want to go. Because I'd rather ride in a 20-year-old Mach 1 rather than a 40-year-old Mach 1. Because I won't know the connecting. That is not good. I may or may not have just blinked out. Sorry about that, guys. I saw a reconnecting on my screen here. Let me check my internet connection. Make sure I'm still good. It says I'm good. I hope I'm not buffering or blinking too bad. Are you a part of any nurses association? If so, which one? If not, would you consider joining? Do ER ICU nurses make the same? Let me get to Nurses Association first, and then I'll answer the ER ICU nurses. 40 Mach. Oh wait, no, I guess it wouldn't be 40. I guess it'd be 50. 50-year-old Mach 1. 55-year-old Mach 1. Yeah, good catch on my math. No, I am not currently part of a nurses association. I was part of one when I was in school. I was a part of one when I was in school for the insurance, for the nursing insurance. After I left school, they asked me to continue to join and pay dues and things like that. I did not continue to pay dues and things like that, and honestly have not given it a second thought. There is no reason for me, there's no benefit for me to join a nurses association, because in substance abuse, there's not really a union, there's not really anything like that. So no, I've never even given it a second thought to join a nurses association. It would definitely help if there was something where you need the insurance, where you need something like that. But no, I didn't even give it a second thought. I would consider joining if there was a substance abuse association. There is mental health, but I don't really. I'm not. I don't. We're sort of a subsidy of that. So no, I've never rejoined one, and never really given another thought. Um, do ER? I always refer to them as ED. So when you hear me say ED, because I know I'm going to change it. I know I'm not going to say ER because I'm going to say ED. Do ED nurses and ICU nurses make the same? No. A lot of factors play into that. Locally, ED nurses do not work the same shifts as any other nurse. In the ED, there are 4-hour increments of shifts. In the ICU, there's typically 12-hour increments of shifts. What I mean is, so shift work, normal shift work like everyone else is like 7 to 3, 3 to 11, 11 to 7. In the ED, there's 7 to 3, 3 to 11, 11 to 7, but there's also like 9 to 4, and then like 4 to midnight, and then like midnight to 7. Like the ED has so many different ranges, and it all depends on which ED shift you get as far as what pays the most, because there's a lot of shift diff that runs into that. There's a lot of specialties. Are you trach certified? Are you mental health certified? Are you whatever it may be? So the same nurse working, or two nurses working the exact same shift in the ED with the same amount of experience may make completely different salaries. In the ICU, typically, not always, but typically, the ICU is the highest of the paid nurses, especially if you're in a ICU that is also a specific category. So if you're in a cardiac ICU, a CCU, or a pediatric PICU, NICU, PICU, CCU, if you're in one of those are the people that really make the top of the bucks. As far as floor nurses go. So the ICUs in general are typically the highest paid. ED is going to pay different depending on shifts, depending on certifications, depending on all these things. So yeah, there's a lot of differences in that question, Nathan. Believe it or not. Hit the like button. Ain't this a gaming channel I normally like to watch? I do have Zelda ready to go, but I'm not, we're not playing Zelda right now, but it is ready to go. Most gamers got a PS5. My daughter said, I want a PS5. I said, no, we're going to build a computer. So we built a computer. And yes, to some, them are some part-time hours. Do you have to do rectum checks at the clinic? I have never done a rectum check on a person. I'm not going to do I really don't want to do a rectum check on a person. One time, years and years and years ago, I don't even know if this is still a thing. When I was still at the hospital, this guy got struck by lightning. I'm not laughing at him getting struck by lightning. Hold on, let me finish the story. I'll tell you what I'm laughing at. Dude gets struck by lightning, okay? For some reason, he gets struck by lightning. He survives. Well, he swells up because he got struck by lightning. So he swells up real big. It really messes with his brain. And for whatever reason, because he's a diabetic, he comes to us. We're on the DICU, the diabetic ICU. And he comes to us. Part of his treatment, normally if you got to pee and you can't pee, they put a Foley in, put a catheter in. Well, this guy had a Foley, but he also had, and I kid you not, a fart tube. He had a fart tube. It was a tube. It was like that big around in his rectum to let his farts out. And that joker stunk. and that joker was in his butt. So the only time that I know of that I've ever had to do it, a rectum check, was that man's fart tube. And that was years and years and years and years ago. I don't even know if they still have those. But that was a long time ago. Thank you, Chris. Do you have any advice in getting into the ICU as a new grad? Do not do it. Do not do it as a new grad. That is my advice. Do not do it as a new grad. If you want to go ICU, and if you want to go ICU as quick as possible, med-surg, a med-surg unit would be a good one. If you want to go to a specific ICU, then get on that unit. So get on a step-down unit, a step-down cardiac care, a step-down renal floor, step-down stroke floor, whatever the category of ICU you want to get into. But yes, do not, I would strongly discourage a new grad going to ICU. There's too much to learn, and there's a big learning curve already. Get a little bit of experience, and then go ICU. Do not do it as a new grad. That's the best advice I can give you. It's probably not what you wanted to hear. But that's the best advice I can give. I hope it didn't stink. It stank. Yeah, I remember it stank. All you had to do was look through the tube. Yes, you had to look through the tube. It was actually clear. The tube was clear. So you could sort of see it. And if I remember correctly, it tapered at the end, so it was like, this big, but then like there was like a bag, but it like when you win a fish at the fair, it was a bag that sort of opened up like that, and it would like flap. Yeah, it was whew. It's the only time I've ever seen one. It's the only time I've ever seen I think it was called a rectal tube. We called it a fart tube on the unit. Appreciate your advice. Thank you. The ICU is not a place for new grads. And if anyone ever tells you that it is, question how they got there. But yes, it's not. No. Did anything look back at me? No, nothing looked back at me. Nah. I think I dreamed this up. There's no way I dreamed this up. I remember this very well. I don't remember many things, but I remember that. I had a buddy, speaking of getting struck by lightning, I had a buddy got hit by lightning. We were working together one summer. Do y'all remember the old Nokia phones that were indestructible? They were like a brick. They were, like a literal brick. Most people remember the dreams. Anyways, I had this buddy that got struck by lightning. He had the Nokia brick phone. Well, they quit making it. I forget what year they quit making it. Well, they no longer made it. And my friend Patrick we were working together over this summer, right? This one summer years ago. And for whatever reason, he's walking outside in a storm, and lightning hits him. Boom! Knocks him down. Evidently, he said he sort of woke up and everything felt like whenever your hand falls asleep or something like that. So Patrick gets up and he's like, everything's sort of tingly and hurts and whatnot, and starts checking himself. In the process of checking himself, he puts his hands in his pocket, and his Nokia phone has just exploded in his pocket. And I don't think it was burned, or I don't think it was burned from the phone exploding. But like, he comes back to work. When he comes back to work, he gets back to work, and he's like angry that his phone has exploded. Not at the fact that he just got struck by lightning, but he's mad that his Nokia phone that we can't buy anymore has been exploded. He was like, man, I can't even buy this phone anymore. It's indestructible. So I do know someone who has been struck by lightning, but mad at the phone, man. I was like, wow, I'd be, happy I survived. Of course, he was like, what, 21, 22 at the time. I think we're about the same age. This would have been about 08, I guess. What year was the Nokia phone? Now I'm curious. Let me Google this.
I think it was before that.
Nokia brick phone. That's it. It's called the Nokia Classic 3310. There it is. Oh, there's a Wikipedia page on it. Wow.
Of course there is.
Discontinued in 2005. So I bet Patrick got hit by lightning somewhere around. Here's what it looks like. Here's the Wikipedia page of it. Those phones were stinking indestructible. You could not kill them. So I bet Patrick got struck by lightning back in 08, maybe. Easy with the sun. It's already gone. Womp womp womp. I done right. I cannot have a drink in my hand. I can't. I drink it as quick as I get it. I don't know why. I know someone got struck by lightning too. Could be the same guy. If his name's Patrick. About 0102. Sounds about right. I remember the Nokia phones about that time. Says it was released September 1st of 2000. I guess it lasted for 5 years. Didn't know them long. But yeah, I definitely do like those old Nokias. We was at the racetrack one time, and one of the guys that was with us was like, "This phone's indestructible." I think I was in high school, so this would have been about 03-ish. And talking about how indestructible his phone was, and he threw it in his cooler. Well, he got drunk and forgot his phone was in his cooler, and the next day he went to go get up for work or whatever, and opened up his cooler and realized his phone was in it. Pulled his phone out and the stinking thing worked. Indestructible. If I'm not mistaken, they were also wasn't Nokia the same people that did the Nextel, or was Nextel their own thing?
I think they're their own thing.
You think they were their own thing? I thought Nokia also did the Nextels. Still got one of those phones. I don't know. Let me check that out too. Because the Nextel phones, they were also indestructible. Who made the Nextel phone? Yeah, 'cause I really thought that the Nextel was also a Motorola. Motorola did the Nextel phone. I thought it was Nokia. I had to use a brick phone. I had to use it for a brick to replace a brick on my foundation. The Nokia 5110. What is that one? Is the 5110 the indestructible one, or the 3110 the indestructible one? Oh. The 5110 was also. I feel like they were both. I remember this one too, though. I do remember the. Here's the 5110. I do remember it also. But I feel like the 3310 was the one that was the really indestructible one. But I could be wrong. All right, Ray. We'll see you later, bud. I'm probably gonna head off of here soon myself. I'm gonna give it to about 11 because I'm pretty tired. But yeah, I do remember that it was the Nokias that were the ones that were indestructible. I don't remember if it was the 5110 or the 3110. But them jokers, man. There was a Super Bowl ad years upon years ago, and this guy was talking about everything his phone had, and so the guy pulls his phone out of his gym bag. And he's like, "Well, my phone has crime deterrent." And he's like, "Well, what's crime deterrent?" He says, "Try to take my wallet." And the guy tries to take his wallet and throws the phone at his face and busts him right in the face. And they were like, "You don't need crime deterrent with this phone," or something like that. They were indestructible back then. You could do stuff like that. Good times. Good times were had. But yeah, Ray, thanks for joining us today. Phew. I sit at Winn-Dixie on break and play Snake. I remember the Snake game. I do remember the little where you'd have to chase it and it'd like eat a block, and then you'd have to. That's before texting came out. You couldn't text nobody. Texting didn't exist.
No, you could. It's expensive.
You could text back then? I didn't think you could text back then.
You could. It's expensive.
I thought you had to call. Yeah, I remember when texting came out, but I don't remember that. I don't remember it then. The Blackberries were cool. You had the Blackberry with the keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
That was a cool phone. Didn't even have saved contact. Yeah, you had to remember the numbers. You still had to remember the numbers, and you only got like. That didn't have a camera, did it? No, that one didn't have a camera. That one didn't have anything. You had like a calendar. It was like a calendar, a timer, like the stopwatch timer thing, the Snake game. Wasn't much, yeah. It was not much. It was like the original MySpace. You could save like 8 people in the phone. It was groundbreaking. Lasted forever. There may still be some out there. I don't know. Ooh. Oops. The antenna pulled out. I never had one the antenna pulled out on. I had one that had like a solid antenna. Like I feel like mine looked exactly like this, but the antenna did not pull out. I remember it just stayed just like that. Like you could tug on that joker all day, and it was not coming out. that I remember. I don't remember the antenna pulling out. But it might have had. Didn't like you could call like after 9 and you didn't have to use your minutes or something like that. What's up, bud? Nothing's happening here on this end. Just got back from a dance recital that lasted all day. What about yourself? Excuse me. Really hoping to start working on my 85 this week. I know I've been saying that for like 7 months, but $51.80. Let's see what the $51.80 is. $51.80. Ah, this one does have a little antenna. Okay. I see what you're saying. It looks the exact same. Except, well, there's a little bit of difference. Like that one had like a cutout right there. But yeah, that doesn't look like what I had. That antenna seems like you'd break it. Walking out in the heat. And flip phones with the antenna. Mine was, I really think mine was the 3110. I don't think mine was the 5110. I think mine was the 3110. Because I feel like just the cover over the screen is what changed. But yeah, that was cool. I did not have the pull-out antenna. I remember flip phones with the antenna. I remember the flip phones as well. Flip phones were cool. They were the first ones that actually fit in your pocket. Flip phones work pretty cool. These new phones, man, they're so stinking smart. They got you forgetting everything so the robots can take over better. Wasn't that? That was iRobot, I think. Oh, Will Smith was in that one. Motorola Razr. I remember the Razr. I didn't have one. I remember it though. I had a stinking Nokia till I got my first iPhone. I think my first iPhone was the original SE, I think. Motorola StarTrack flip phone. I had a Nokia. I think I had a Nokia when we got married. I didn't have a smartphone. Look, I didn't have a smartphone until after we got married, I think. If I'm not mistaken, it's after we had kids, or our first child. I really think it was. I really think I got my first smartphone after we had our first child. Yeah, because I used to have to use your phone to check emails and stuff. I do remember doing that. You had that BlackBerry. No, you didn't. You have that Microsoft phone.
Yeah.
You had the Microsoft phone. Yeah, I had a... So it's only been like 10, 12 years since I've had a smartphone. So I had the Nokia up until then. I was probably 4 during that time. Then all of a sudden, everyone had smartphones. My first phone was a small brick with buttons that slid out of the keyboard in 2014, sort of like the Blackberries. That's what my wife had, was a Blackberry. 2014. That was 10 years ago. Ugh, nothing makes me feel old like that. 2014. Dun, dun, dun. Good times. I think the first iPhone came out in 08, maybe. 08, 09, somewhere around in there. Good time to come out, right as the economy tanked. Sort of. Wasn't a BlackBerry, but close. I'm 22 now. I was... like 16 when you were born. Yeah. 16 or 17. That'd be 02. I was driving. Touring the country. Touring the state. Driving around. Yeah, I was 16 and 22 years ago. Good times. Anyways, it's been fun. I legit am sorry, but I cannot hold my eyes open tonight. Definitely late getting on because of, I had fun at the girls' recital. I had fun there, but I had fun. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. It was fun sort of going back down memory lane and looking at old phones and stuff that we used to have. But thank you guys so much. I will see y'all. We don't have anything next week, do we? Don't think we have anything next week. So I'll see everybody next week.